Degenerate communities have always enticed me, but the one that has like remained the most in my mind in the back of it has always been VRChat. And that's for like a few reasons, but to get into them really, I gotta get deep. But before I do, join the fucking Discord server. I need members. I'm just trying to build a congregation of you motherfuckers that enjoy my content and genuinely have real conversations and improve my videos and whatever the fuck you need and giving me suggestions and shit. Overall, just building a community. If y'all are down with that shit, join it down below. We have a bunch of cool ass motherfuckers in there. We actually reached like 100 members. And secondly, thank you for 400 subscribers, bro. My fucking god, we've been growing. Regardless, VRChat's degenerosity, not like the YouTuber though, has been a absurd fucking amount. Like, I personally have been through a lot of shit that has involved the VRChat community. I got an Oculus Quest around 2022 area and I started playing the game and shit. I would just regularly kind of play it and like make friends on there and shit. I was just like an online of having genuine conversations and shit. I would always stick in certain groups or some shit. Like, basically, I was just being normal. I was just conversating with some of these people, and maybe that sounds corny to some of you, but it was pretty fun for a while. But the deeper I got, the worse it gets. I started getting into like the deeper parts of VRChat, and there were a bunch of pedos. There were a bunch of people that were trying to prey upon me. Like, I remember I had a group of people that I genuinely did fuck with. A lot of them were lesbians, but they all kind of like wanted to get with each other, and they were all around me doing shit, flirting, and like having electronic sex, as bad as that sounds. Regardless, there were also a bunch of pedos around me. Like, I remember I saw a motherfucker that was 20 years old with a 14-year-old girl, and they were e-culling in front of a mirror in the Black Cat. I tried helping her, but the thing is that she just wouldn't listen to me because of her ignorance. You know, this was a normal, healthy relationship that would sprout into something that would be bigger than just VRChat, and they could actually genuinely hang out outside of it. I'm gonna try to help you to understand this. He's flipping patties at McDonald's. You're still in freshman year. It's time to calm it down just a little bit and start having a realization that this motherfucker is 20. In one more year, he's at the age that he can order a fucking drink at a bar and not be questioned. You are at 15 years old, not even able to go to your first prom yet. Just to put that into perspective on how deep and bad this shit genuinely gets. But I don't think VRChat is like the worst place on the internet. Yeah, there are a bunch of degenerates, and I genuinely do hate a lot of them, and they just sit there and all they do is drink, smoke, and overall fry the shit out of their dopamine and just literally just keep pumping themselves with it because they don't live normal lives. That's a destructive part of VRChat, and you get addicted because when you keep talking to these people and you establish relationships with them, you get trapped into these relationships and you have to keep talking to them and building it further because you feel like if you ignore them, then you're betraying a friend that you genuinely like to have around you. So you get on the game every single day on that sweaty ass headset with a big ass head strap that's putting a dent in your head, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse, and the addiction is just tearing you apart. Not only that, but there are VRChat gangs and other shit like that where people try and dox people, get fan signs, try and dox and crash people's headsets, overall try and get their information and extort them. And they aren't even like real motherfuckers that can actually do this shit. They're skids. If you don't know what a skid is, they basically use scripts of code that have already been written by other people that do know how to dox and do know how to do all this shit, instead of making it themselves and genuinely coding it out, or like actually sitting there taking the time to know them and actually like draw the information out of them. But for some people, this is an escape that helps them actually have communication. A lot of these people on VRChat are extremely lonely and just looking for communication, and either that they might have actual problems with them where they actually can't communicate correctly, like speech impediments, or the fact that they have anxiety, certain forms of depression that allow them not to speak normally to people and not have big trust in others. Sometimes there's a community that can assist them and help them with shit like this, and that's why I liked VRChat, because of shit like that. When you involve yourself in all of these forms of intoxication and even molesting children and just overall being a predator upon people that are extremely vulnerable, because there's so many of them that are in this game, it makes my stomach turn and it makes me sick into my stomach. It makes me want to vomit. It's gotten so bad to the point where there's a literal genre. If you look up VRChat predator, there's so many videos by so many different people that have caught numerous amounts of predators and have exposed them and outed them in front of the public so that others can be educated about their bad deeds. And there's even people like Brendan FM who have covered VRChat and have actually gone deep and actually done investigative journalism into the game itself that proves my points. Even though they're hour-long videos, they are actually worth watching interesting because of their editing style, as well as the fact that they are just overall giving you an abundance of information that helps you understand the culture and community of this place. Enveloping yourself in it is not worth it, and I do not recommend it unless you are one of these people that are kind of antisocial and can't genuinely talk to people normally, because there are communities of people that will try to assist you in building your self-confidence and genuinely making it easier on you for your antisocialness, and they can assist you through that shit, and you can genuinely make friendships that will last, at least on the internet, and y'all can keep in contact and shit, and things like that nature genuinely are helpful to our society, and I think that that's worth it, but there's just too many things wrong with it. And this isn't just my opinion. We made a whole interview with one of the people that has been enveloped inside the VRChat community for years, and his name is Vox, and here is that interview now. We interviewing Zox for this fucking segment. So Zox, how the fuck you get in VRChat, twin?
So I was hanging around a bunch of OG people in the little VRChat community. It was a group called Lurking at the time. So my homie Rab, me, Dacity, and Zen. Some people may know Zen. He's pretty chill. So I was in that group, and then my homie Rab, who owned the group at the time, he introduced me to the game called VRChat. At the time, I was like 12. I was really young at the time, I can't lie. So I got into that, and then I ran into like little gang monkeys and shit. And then they came at me talking about, do you know this group? Do you know that group? I was like, I don't know anything about this shitty ass game or any of these little gang monkeys. I just do my OSINT, do my little docs and shit, and I get out, bro. And then they were like, oh, then what's an EDR? What's a GovMail? What's this? I was like, I answered them all, and then they were like, oh, so then do you know this guy? Do you know that? And I hit him with the most simple shit in the world that you can know. I asked them, so what do you know? They were like, okay, I know this. So I pull up the most simple thing that you can know about that. I ask them, and they don't know. VRChat, I'm gonna give you a rundown about VRChat, little e-thugs. Mostly, 99% of them know nothing, and all they do is make avatars, drink, and be degenerates and prey on little girls.
Basically, everybody that's on VRChat has a PDF file on some shit, like an EDP, like a cupcake eater.
That I've met on that game either turn into a homosexual, a pedophile, or someone who tries to extort people for money or fan signs.
Do you still play VRChat or no?
No. I've left that community, I believe, a couple of months ago.
Okay, so basically you saying that everybody on VRChat is some type of degenerate. Do you have like any
100%.
personal experiences that have happened to you that you can explain?
To me, exactly? Yeah. So I ran into this one guy. He seemed chill. He seemed like a nice guy. He had like a little speech impediment. I didn't mind it. I was chill with him. And then he says, yo, let's go meet my friends. I go meet his friends. By the way, this guy is a 23-year-old grown man. So I go into one of these little chill worlds. I go in there. His friend is a 7-year-old girl who is acting like a baby, bro. She's in a corner, like acting like she has a binky in her mouth, and she's like, bro, she's weird. And he's a 23. He's a 23-year-old grown man doing this shit.
Bro,
I was like,
what?
Do you think he cared?
What?
I asked him. I deadass asked him. I was like, yo, do you know, like, who you're hanging out with? He was like, yeah, she's 7. I was like, bro, she's 7. It's a girl and she's 7 and you're a 23-year-old man. He was like, yeah, so? I was like, do you not have any clue in your mind, bro, of what the hell you're doing and what you might get accused of? And it's not even the fact that you might get accused of it. You're doing it right now in front of my fucking face. He was like, yeah, I understand. And I was like, bro, if you don't block this bitch and never speak to her again, on God, you're done. He was like, oh, okay. He blocked her. Next time I meet this guy, he's in a black cat world, fucking getting fucked by a girl, by a 16-year-old girl, in the middle of a black cat with 40 people.
Pegged in the ass by a minor?
Yes. He is a grown-ass man, 23-year-old grown-ass man.
What the
His ass has a 9-to-5 job at Wendy's, bro. What the fuck?
Anyway, Zox, I do have a question for you. Have you ever had e-sex? Like, genuinely? Let's be for real.
No.
Okay.
I've never eaten it. Look,
Okay.
I've never eaten it.
Okay.
I've never had e-sex. I'm a normal human at the end of the day. I'm never gonna do any of that degenerate shit on the, like, online.
Thank you for your time, Zox. You know, telling us all that information. I appreciate it, twin. You want to, like, say, like, what's good?
Alright, here. Peep. I'm gonna give the most simple rundown of anybody that you can meet in VRChat. So peep. If you meet anybody in VRChat who is claiming to know anybody and they don't actually know them, All I have to say is, they usually claim to know people by the name of Draco, me, Zen, or anybody who owns a Gang Monkey server. Anybody who owns a Gang Monkey server, like the Group Killer Gang, Disciples 808, or any like other bullshit like that, like Laughing Coffin, which Laughing Coffin is dead. I know the owners. That shit's gone forever. That shit's gone. Anybody, the old people who used to own it, one whose name was like, I think Jay Gamer, he runs an OnlyFans doing VR porn. He's a fucking freak. That kid's a loser. And yeah. So if they claim to know any people of that, they usually don't know them. I promise you. And everybody larks on that game. Do not take them serious. And do not give out any of your private information.
Alright, any socials or anything? Or like, you just not want to talk about
Any
that?
socials? Yeah. My Discord, if people do claim to know me, buying Fendi, just call 'em. And then my Instagram, also buying Fendi. Yeah.
Thank you, Vox, and thank you, Pert, for actually letting us record and actually, like, getting information that can help us with this video. I appreciate both of you motherfuckers so much. Anyway, yeah, I hope this gave you some perspective on the actual online community of VRChat and actually gave you a little bit of insight on what it's like. If you enjoyed any of this content, I have a whole bunch of other topics on my YouTube where you can just see a whole bunch of other things that I think would probably interest you. Listen to Frank Ocean, and I'll see you motherfuckers later.